This episode is brought to you by Prime. What if you had one more chance with the one that got away?
Sam, you came home.
Based on the best-selling novel from Carly Fortune. Every Year After follows childhood friends Sam and Percy as they reunite in the dreamy, nostalgic lakeside town of Barry's Bay.
Love can be hard to find. So if you're lucky enough to find that person, never let go.
A second chance at first love. Every Year After, now streaming only on Prime.
What up? It's interview style, where we talk about movies and stuff. Iris wanted to ask me if banned books make good movies. And that took some thinking about. Iris, what prompted this prompt?
What prompted the banned books prompt?
And whether or not they make good movies.
This impulse to start banning books in schools and public libraries is just kind of bonkers to me. And maybe this is a cyclical thing of wanting to be conservative about what material, especially our kids, are taking in. As Helen Zaltzman from The Illusionist cited, it's very ironic that a book like 1984 consistently gets on the banned books list. It's just like, wow, what? But anyway, there's a lot of banned books that have been made into movies. Is it doubling down? Are we exacerbating these, perceived negative messages? And do they generally make good movies? Another book that consistently makes it to the banned books list that boggles my mind is you would never guess it.
To Kill a Mockingbird?
No, probably. Where's Waldo?
Oh, why?
Because if you look closely at some of the illustrations, like on the beach, for example, there are nude illustrated characters.
What?
I'm just saying.
Okay. If you're teaching Where's Waldo in schools in such a way that they would be banned, I don't know what you're doing. Maybe they're available in schools and they're just like, take that nudity out of the library.
I wanted to get your opinion on this, Wes, because the conceit of Or Whatever Movies is that generally when I'm curious about something, I want to know if you've got a perspective on it or what you think about it.
So if you're talking about kids' books and taking it out of schools, it's generally the parents who they conflict with their values, and the parents are scared that it will put ideas into the kids' heads and generate certain things. Lord of the Flies is pretty anti-establishment, and it lets kids left to their own devices are going to run around and kill each other, and there's all kinds of profanity and stuff. There's anti-war stuff, Slaughterhouse-5 and junk. There's the graphicness of otherwise prized and treasured stories like The Color Purple, A Clockwork Orange, and people worried that it's going to cause ultra-violence and stuff. Brokeback Mountain because it's gay. A Wrinkle in Time because it questions monotheism and all this stuff. And Animal Farm, anti-communist, Lolitas, underage creepiness and stuff. The parents are afraid that it will invite discourse from which they want to keep their children shielded, I assume. But when it comes to movies, I think that is a more commercial enterprise. Books, for the most part, to be written, don't cost a dime. Yes, you have to publish them, but you don't even really have to do that anymore to bind and sell the copies, physical copies of books. Andy Weir did it. He just put his stuff up for free, and then Hollywood came calling, and publishers came calling. And I think sometimes that notoriety and controversy for these books are like, oh, this is a hot topic, people are aware, let's make a movie about it and capitalize on it. And I don't think that component can be denied. It's like social media or something and stuff that breaks the internet. It's just notoriety translates to sales. And it doesn't hurt that sex also translates to sales. And so I think people make these movies in large part because people are talking about it, because movies are a commercial industry. It is meant to make money because they're so much more expensive than books. And ironically, some of the best movies are based on banned books. To answer the overall question, I think so. I think they can make good movies because of the source material, not just, oh, that's provocative or that's inappropriate or they use racist language. Gone with the Wind had a kind of fanciful depiction of life in the South, and it was disparaging of black people. It also is like one of the most famous and maybe the most lucrative movies of all time, adjusted for inflation. To Kill a Mockingbird, The Color Purple, is very, very famous. Slaughterhouse-Five, these are classics. A Clockwork Orange. It seems like Stanley Kubrick is making movies left and right on banned books and controversial material. He also did Lolita. Yes, they can, but movies, I think, are the biggest game of telephone. You read a book with intentions by a certain person, usually written by one person, and then a bunch of people by committee make a version of that to tell other people who don't like to read. And so stuff is toned down. Some of the more controversial aspects of The Color Purple didn't make it into the movie. Still hugely regarded. To Kill a Mockingbird is a beloved family classic. Now, is that the separation of time? Or is it because like our values have shifted so that it's not any of the controversial themes are no longer an issue? Or was it toned down? Because from what I can tell, a lot of the stuff is toned down when it's delivered in movie form, for mass appeal, for money-making potential. Lord of the Flies, American Psycho,
and the
Carrie,
necessity of consolidation.
Yes, and not constriction, condensation.
Mm-hmm.
I think there are good and bad authors, and there are good and bad filmmakers, but story is king. The language of a certain book, like The Bridges of Madison County, is notoriously poorly written. I still think it made a good movie, mostly because it has Meryl Streep. And so I think it depends on the filmmaker, but if it's not well written, usually people won't pay attention to a disturbing or aggravating book if it's written like crap.
Yeah, it's almost like if it's badly written, it's gratuitous, but if it's well written, then it's an achievement.
Right. And I think they suppress it for other reasons, but to have a good story is to be able to make a good movie through adaptation. In short, yes, they can make good movies, but they don't always.
Okay, thanks for playing.
Okay, I love you, bye.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile with a message for everyone paying big wireless way too much. Please, for the love of everything good in this world, stop. With Mint, you can get premium wireless for just $15 a month. Of course, if you enjoy overpaying, no judgments, but that's weird. Okay, one judgment. Anyway, give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only. Then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
Electric acid.